Welcome to Top Crop. I'm Perry Galloway and we're in Arkansas and it's May the 25th. As promised, we've looked at corn, soybeans, cotton, talked about wheat. We're in a rice field now. We're really going to mind our coins this year because of the commodity prices and the expenses associated with producing a crop. Try to make a good or a great crop on limited budgets.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our Thursday night battle for the field. Well, Seth, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, sir. How are you doing tonight, Brandon?
I'm doing good. We're going out. This is the time of the season that it counts on this episode. There's multiple crops out on the line. It's a showdown across the fields. Galloway is growing corn, beans, cotton, wheat, and rice. Go Perry. Let's see how it's going to go. This year he's set to spread the risk and stay profitable. Well, that's a hard thing to say at one time. And this, believe it or not, this episode is he goes into about the stamina, his strategy, and what his sheer will to stay diverse this year.
Absolutely. Yeah, Perry makes it happen over in Arkansas with all the crops, showing us how diverse one can be. We're excited to bring you another episode 4. If you didn't catch it on Monday for our watch party on Monday, tonight's a good night to catch it. We're on all the platforms, Top Crop TV, bringing you the action from the fields of 2024. Perry Galloway, this is his, no stranger to this channel here. Perry Galloway, this is his first season with us on Top Crop Season 2, and this is his first episode. He's out in another country at the moment, over in Africa. But we're excited to share this episode all about what goes on his farm. I mean, he's no stranger to our shows either. You've seen him in the Podfather, and he's interviewed here with you before, Brandon. Is that right?
Yep. It is, it's getting harder and harder to stay profitable. Well, it's getting harder and harder to break even, much less stay profitable. Perry, Russell, the whole gang, Dan, everybody, they work very hard to stay ahead of the game. And this season is going to start showing that and proving that point.
Yeah. No, I think it is possible for the two to go hand in hand to stay sustainable and profitable, to get those yields up and for everybody to make a little extra coin. Because let's face it, we're diving deep into how farmers can make money and take care of the planet all at the same time, because we know it's possible.
Absolutely. Well, are you ready to roll that fabulous footage?
Yeah, let's roll that videotape. We got it ready to roll here. This is episode 4, the battle for the fields. Come on.
It's time for new season Top Crop. The health of our soil is going to contribute to us making money.
I call it turning trash into cash.
I'm still looking for big wins.
I think it looks good. Welcome to Top Crop. May the 26th, I believe. It's a Friday. It's rained again. So, we have less than a day of planting left, but it's too wet, so we're going to talk about planters. I get the question a lot about what planters we use, what crops we use them on, and the differences. So, the one I'm standing next to right now is actually one we have pretty much dedicated to soybeans, a 15-inch planter, 60 foot wide. It is a John Deere. It's a DB60. I think it's 47 rows. So Each row is 15 inches spacing. We like that for our soybeans. It's we do a pretty good job accurately planting our soybeans. Give us better spacing than say a drill might give us. So it is equipped for no-till. We looked at some soybeans yesterday that were planted no-till at a 30-degree angle across some old corn beds. You know, we use raised beds a lot in the South and the Mid-South. So this planter is capable of handling that. We've got pneumatic down pressures. We've got the no-till coulters. Just does a good job for us planting soybeans. We've made a lot of big yields with this soybean. Just folded up now. It's got all kinds of hydraulic contraptions that allow it to unfold, and it's 60 foot wide, as I mentioned earlier. Central fill hopper, so it holds, I think, 100 bushels or 100 units. So we can plant a lot of acres in a short period of time with this DB60 planter. That's one feature I really like about it. We can cover a lot of acres. During the span of a week, it seemed like we worked 2 or 3 days and had to sit 3 or 4 days just because of the weather. So once we start rolling, it doesn't take us long. All right, let's go next door. Everybody loves, this is a place for dogs. So if you ever need any dogs, we can spare a few. So back to planters. So we looked at a 15-inch, 60-foot planter we had dedicated pretty much to soybeans. We're gonna look at a drill now. What do we do with a drill? It'll plant about anything. This particular drill is on 7.5-inch spacing. It's 42 foot wide. I think it's 42 foot wide. It's the N500 series. So this particular one's a N542. Similar to the ones I've had in the past, so it wasn't any problem adapting to it. It's got a 270 bushel pull between hopper or cart, so you can fill that thing up with seed and go the full day. So what do we plant with it? We plant rice, we plant wheat, and it will plant soybeans if needed. I try not to use it in soybeans just because it is kind of a controlled spill. So with less seed per acre in soybeans, I feel like we can do a better job with a regular row planter or the 15-inch row planter. So again, we'll come back and take a look at this. By the way, this is on these RX tractors with the 4 tracks. These are nice. If you're considering one of these, I would highly recommend it. I think we have 2 of them, and we all love them. We love to operate them. They're smooth, and they're very efficient. So this is a hopper, or the pull between cart. Holds 270 bushels. It does have the row command on it, so it will shut off so we don't waste seed. And that seems to be, that's a big thing. As much as seed cost, we don't need to waste any seed, and we need to be real accurate on our overlaps because we don't want to double plant something because it doesn't yield as well. We learned that in corn, but the same holds true in soybeans and or rice. You start having problems where you overlap. Population's too high, grows too tall, falls down on you, stays vegetative, won't go into that reproductive mode as well, as easily and stay there. So yeah, it's a big deal, I think, to have row command. It probably pays for itself in seed savings alone. So again, N542, 42 foot wide drill. It is on a no-till style drill, so it'll plant in any condition. We probably plant half our stuff in conventional tillage environments and half of it in a no-till environment or a stale seed bed. So this will cut right through the ground, lay the seed in there very accurately. Right here, it's folded up so we can see it, and then it's got these notched closing wheels, which are really nice to seal that seed trench up and get good even emergence. Really like this drill. Control the down pressure so it will cut through some of the tougher type soils. Well, when we're planting rice, it's shallow. I would say 3/4 of an inch. We've had plenty of moisture this year or rain in the forecast, so we'll plant half inch, 3/4 inch, just get enough soil on to get a rain, get it germinated, and it comes right up. So I haven't used this drilling wheat yet, but I've used one identical to it. We're planting 105, 110 pounds of seed, looking for that population, and it's gonna do such a good job placing the seed that we expect to get all of it up.
In the past 3 years, we're 365 GDUs behind schedule. So that is one of our concerns here. If we don't have solar, we don't have GDUs, we don't have photosynthesis, we don't have energy into that plant. So that's where, when you guys approached about Architect and being able to add that on at that V5 time frame, I was really excited for it. Definitely looks like it's doing its job here. I'm excited to take it to yield and see if we can't get it on every acre next year.
We've been very happy with the roadability. They've been very smooth on the road, not bouncy. They don't have the loud sprayer noise. So we're going to be putting a lot of high road miles, a lot of heat in the summertime. So we're really excited to see that, and the less compaction, our clay soils getting over it, and sometimes even tougher conditions.
We have a very aggressive warranty on these. They're 7 years. It even covers field hazard and stubble protection, which means that, CF really does feel we have a great quality tire, and we're standing behind that.
Cornstalk stubble is extremely hard on tires, so that's really good for us.
Welcome to Top Crop. I'm Perry Galloway, and we're in Arkansas, and it's May the 25th. Out here in a cornfield, looking pretty good, and it's wet, which is great for this time of year. We've had a little too much rain, but for this corn, it's actively growing at V8, V9. It's pretty nice not having to water it every day. We're heavy on irrigation, about 95% irrigated here, just because of lack of rainfall and heat, so we've got to keep the water flowing, but right now we're good for another few days. We got a nice rain yesterday and today, and more in the forecast, so it's impeding a little bit of our planting progression, finishing planting soybeans, I guess, but for the most part it's really helping this corn. It's been fertilized 3 of the 4 times, side dressed, so excited about that. The rainfall got it activated. It's got a perfect color to it. You might see some of these speckles on the leaves. That's from the fertilizer. We had to aerial apply it because of the moisture. We couldn't get across the fields with our Y drop. So here we are, setting up for a nice crop population. Let's see, did I mention this corn was planted around the 25th of March, which is a pretty good date for us. Population planted 34.5, probably looking at 33.5 final stands. So if we do our math, just regular everyday corn, surely we'll be able to make 250, 275, and we'll be happy with that. We're really gonna mind our coins this year because of the commodity prices and the expenses associated with producing a crop. So we're gonna try to make a good or a great crop on limited budgets. So I get the question a lot about my soils. My soil types are pretty sandy. Our CECs are 4.5 to 5.5 on average. I've got one field that might be a 15 or 16, but for the most part, everything's really sandy. Very little clay, so very little moisture holding capacity. That's another reason why we're so irrigated. But the light sandy soils are easily manipulated with fertility. So a little bit goes a long way. Goes to work quick, so that's advantageous to me, I feel like, on making high yields. This particular field would be a Dubs type soil. I don't know the breakdown between clay, sand, and loam, but it's pretty sandy and forgiving as far as fertility. Like I said, a little bit goes a long way, whether you're talking lime or NPK or the micronutrients that are picked up through the soil and not through the leaves, but we've made some fantastic yields over the year with these soils. So our 3 problems when we're talking nutrition with these soils are magnesium. We don't have a lot of magnesium just because they're sandy soils. I guess another would be sulfur. We're not getting the sulfur from the atmosphere like we used 2 years ago. And so the applied sulfur will leach on us. And then of course boron, it leaches and hard to get in the plant. So we apply boron, sulfur, monitor our magnesium with our pHs, and zinc. You know, we use a lot of zinc. We use it in our Tuba 2 as well as our Infura. For zinc applied Infura, 9% say EDTA zinc is about 23 times more effective than just a broadcast application done after emergence. So zinc typically isn't a problem. We can keep our zinc levels pretty high. The question is, when will we have to start using our irrigation? Hopefully never this season. If we get, you know, corn's using 1/4 to 1/3 of an inch of rainfall during pollination and grain fill, that's hard to keep up with. It's hard for these irrigation systems to keep up with. But if we can, you know, somehow get something out here that feels like 2 inches of rain a week, whether it's through overhead irrigation or any form of irrigation or rainfall, then that's enough to make a bumper crop. You know, if it didn't rain another drop, we're fully saturated right now. Today's Thursday, May the 25th. We're probably looking at mid next week, next Tuesday or Wednesday, before we'd have to turn on any irrigation. Yeah, again, I go back to these light sandy soils. The moisture disappears at a rapid pace, and this corn will be twisted and heat stressed in just a few days, given the right conditions. So right now, we're 4 or 5 days off from needing irrigation with 85, 90 degree temperatures.
Another thing that we're doing, the sugars, octane. We gotta have that sugar. We gotta have the kelpine for the stress mitigation. And then the big one, something we found out just 2 years ago, we've been toying with and we found it consistent. Onward Max, 6.5 ounces. And let me tell you, the trials that we ran with that, there's a reason why it's going on every single acre of our corn.
Choose your herbicide. Choose your pest protection. Choose AgVenture. The latest trait technologies featuring the power of the Enlist weed control system, plus the quality and service you know and trust. Produce more bushels with 4-Seed Enlist and PowerCore Enlist corn from AgVenture. Visit agventure.com/corn traits to get a whole farm solution with the latest corn traits.
Welcome to Top Crop. We're in a cotton field in Arkansas, and this is May the 25th. This cotton's about 3 weeks old. It's kind of ragged. You know, it's been through a little bit, some weather issues, some insect issues with the thrips. We got those under control. We put our insecticide for the thrips in with our herbicide, so the weeds are dying, grasses, broadleaves. Cotton survived, the leaves are straightening out. The new leaf right there. Perfect little leaf coming. So this field will look a lot different this time next week, or maybe in 4 or 5 days. So this is on 30 inches, which is kind of, it's not the norm. This is a 30-inch hybrid skip pattern that I used for the first time. I wasn't the one who thought it up, but talked to other growers and they like this 30-inch hybrid. So we got a row, a skip, 4 solids, a skip, and a row to make up our 20 feet, to make our picker more efficient. And just because we have a skip here and on the other side of the 4, that cotton has a way to compensate. Hopefully this will be solid cotton at harvest and this row won't even be missed. So really excited about cotton. I grew it almost 100% cotton for 20 plus years. I've been out of it for 10 years, but excited to get back in it. I really need the rotation. We have a lot of nematode problems, and with cotton nematodes, root knot nematodes are a little easier to control, I feel like. So that was one thing. Plus, I just like the management of cotton. It's a high management crop. You need to be out here every day seeing what kind of problem you have in your cotton field. And I promise you there'll be plenty of problems to follow throughout this year season of top crop. Population-wise, we planted in the neighborhood of 40,000 on most of the rows. We did some little adjusting on some inside rows, but we'll talk about that later. With a little cooperation and some good weather, you know, we can make 2.5, 3.5 bales of cotton. It's a little tattered. We had some bad wind in front of this last rain event, but that won't slow it down either. The new leaves look good, so they'll unfurl, and we'll be on our way. Put some fertilizer on it in the next week or 10 days, and this stuff will really take off. Cotton's one of the crops you got to fertilize it to make it grow, and then you got to put a growth regulator on it to keep it short and squatty, keep it in better reproductive mode. Welcome to Top Crop, and here's cotton 2024.
Another thing that we're doing, the sugars, octane. We got to have that sugar. We got to have the kelpine for the stress mitigation. And then the big one, something we found out just 2 years ago, we've been toying with and we found it consistent. Onward Max, 6.5 ounces. And let me tell you, the trials that we ran with that, there's a reason why it's going on every single acre of our corn. Fungicide we're using is Veltima, because our 3rd year with it. It's been working great. There has been some tar spot already spotted in northern Ohio. Normally we've already flown all this corn, but we was able to wait until July 26th today. It's already past blister stage, starting to fill out already. We've been able to keep disease pressure away, and Veltima should protect us all the way through the rest of the season.
All right, welcome to Top Crop. So we've looked at corn, cotton, saving rice for tomorrow, but now we're in a soybean field. These soybeans were planted early April, April 5th, April 7th. So they're a little over a month old. Planted 130,000 population, planted no-till. If you can tell, we're at a 30-degree angle from the corn rows from last year. So when we planted them, some were a little too deep, some were a little too shallow. Wasn't too scared of it because we had rain in the forecast. So I knew the ones that were too deep, hopefully the soil would stay loose and be able to push right through it, and they were able to. The ones planted in the middles or the ones that were too shallow had enough moisture and cover, whether it was soil or old crop residue, to just push right through. So great stand. You know, out of 130,000 we planted, we probably had 110, 112 up. We'll take that any day. They're growing off really well. We sprayed them once for weeds with the herbicide, and we'll spray them again probably within the next week, and we'll consider them laid by and expecting a nice yield. They're certainly off to a good start. My operator was like, "Man, are you sure you want to do this?" I didn't want to go right down the rows from last year, so I put an angle in them, and 30 degrees was a number that satisfied me as far as getting a consistent amount shallow, consistent amount deep, and a consistent amount just perfect depth-wise at planting. So that's why that's the 30. But at harvest, these old corn stalks, they'll be gone.
It's good to have the residue, though.
Yeah, the residue.
Keep some moisture in there.
This field has a lot of good things going for it. So it's a heavier sandy soil, full nutrition. This is one of my top fields every year. And last year the corn at the look was in excess of 250. So happy about that. We've got all this residue, all the nutrients that the corn stubble, stover is returning to the soil and continues to return to the soil. So excited about that. Like I say, I've got several fields like this and expecting great returns. And welcome to Top Crop. As promised, we've looked at corn, soybeans, cotton, talked about wheat. We may look at some wheat later, but we're in a rice field now, which I know that's a crop unique to a lot of people, but not in the Mid-South and Arkansas especially. I think Arkansas The U.S. raises about 3% of the rice in the world, and 1% of that is actually raised in Arkansas. So 1% of the rice in the world is raised here in Arkansas, and the other 2% is scattered out between Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, California, of course. So that'd probably catch most of the rice. Might be a little bit in Alabama. This rice is about boot top high, probably 6-leaf rice. It's ready to, as we say, go to flood. It's had its final herbicide application and needs some fertilizer, which the rain interrupted that. So just as soon as it dries out a little, we'll put 100 pounds of nitrogen on it. And in 2 weeks' time, this will look like a pool table. It will be shin high, if not knee high, solid green. And this is a hybrid rice, so even though it's planted thin at 23, 24 pounds of seed per acre, it's amazing how one seed will tiller into a huge rice plant. So this will be solid, beautiful green crop. I can't say enough about it. It looks good. The water you see out here is just rainwater. It just rained this morning, so when it dries up, we'll make some fertilizer applications and take this to flood, as we say. And start out with a shallow flood, just maybe an inch deep, 2 inches deep. But then as the rice grows, we'll deepen the flood until it's probably 4 inches. So again, here's the rice we've been promising you. Looks good. Looking forward to a good rice yield because the price is in pretty decent shape.
In the past 3 years, we're 365 GDUs behind schedule. So that is one of our concerns here. You know, if we don't have solar, we don't have GDUs, we don't have photosynthesis, we don't have energy into that plant. So that's where, when you guys approached about Architect and being able to add that on at that V5 time frame, I was really excited for it. Definitely looks like it's doing its job here. I'm excited to take it to yield and see if we can't get it on every acre next year.
We've been very happy with the roadability. They've been very smooth on the road, not bouncy. They don't have the loud sprayer noise. So we're going to be putting on a lot of high road miles, a lot of heat, and in the summertime. So we're really excited to see that, and the less compaction in our clay soils, getting over it, and sometimes even tougher conditions.
We have a very aggressive warranty on these. They're 7 years. Even covers field hazard and stubble protection, which means that CIAT really does feel we have a great quality tire, and we're standing behind that.
Cornstalk stubble is extremely hard on tires, so that's really good for us.
Let's go. Welcome back in, friends. Welcome back in. Brandon here, Seth Wood here. That was another episode of Top Crop. What'd you think, Brandon?
They're going to have a year ahead of them.
Perry Galloway always taking care of the field so nicely. They look so clean and fresh down there in Arkansas, teaching us all about flood irrigation and the rice and the differences in cotton management. It's really cool to see all the things happening down there. We're sad that he wasn't able to be with us this evening. He's over in South Africa for a few days, but we'll catch him back here on the lives. He's frequently with us on the lives, and we're happy he is. He's a new member of the family here at Top Crop, but no stranger to the screen, having been in the series The Podfather. Do you have a favorite episode of The Podfather, Brandon? I'm curious.
No, they're all. Enjoyed just about all of them. I mean, I always have. And the one thing about Perry, and this is one thing I love about everybody that's in Top Crop, they make a point to show you where they've made changes that normally would not occur.
Yeah, it's true. They're showing some of the unique things. They're trying new and different management practices and timing.
It's just like going that just that little bit of a shift in the corn stubble, and we all have to fight corn stubble, but that little bit of difference for him has made a huge impact.
That's right. Sometimes
we'll
it just
see
takes,
that as we go along through the season.
That's right. It could be something as simple as sugar. Some folks don't know that you just need to make sure you got a little bit of sugar in every pass. And sugar is one of the things that we talk about frequently on the show. Ag Explorer's got some good sugar, presented by a sponsor who we're very grateful to, as you saw in the episodes there. Grateful to Ag Explorer, BASF, and even Seat showing up in the chat tonight with the tires representing, making it look easy out in the fields with the Seat tires.
Yes, they do. And they are tires that in the heat make a difference.
Yeah.
Now, if we could make them so that they were antler proof, we would be real good.
I don't know that you're going to find a tire that's antler proof, but we do have the ability to make the fields antler proof. How do we do that, Brandon? How do we make the fields antler proof?
Turntail. The only effective deer deterrent on the market.
What's it called? Turntail?
Turntail.
Oh, that's the name. That's genius. I
It
love
makes
that.
them turn tail and leave the field.
That's right. That's brilliant. How much per 1,000 liters tank the average? No worries. Mrs. M, welcome in on the X. Thanks for being in. I appreciate you. Bryant said you got a nice hat on, Brandon.
The Bass Agency.
It's true. I would agree. Mrs. M, thanks for the comments. Thanks for hanging out on the X. We had a good show tonight on the X. X got our highest hits, along with the book with Beer Money Pulling. Thanks to those guys. Big shout out to those guys. Big shout out to Farm Life tonight. Appreciate y'all letting us use the StreamYard and making it happen on the stream here at Farm Life. When some of the other shows that we can tune in so that we can learn some more about the farming process.
On Wednesday nights, Dave Strock, myself, Crop Scout Christy, we try to cover ag-related products, soil health, new software that can be used. Now, next week, Russell is going to be with us, and we're going to continue talking about humic acids, and fulvics. Russell, Crop Scout Christy, myself, and Dave Schrock, we will be going over, continually talking about soil health as we're approaching. One of the things that this time of year is we're starting to approach planting. Soil health is our main thing. It started back in December, and it's been going ever since.
Yeah, we got Bethany from the talk says more scouting reduces antler damage, and it's true.
It does.
It does. You got to keep your eyes open. They need a special something for the tractor that kind of scoops up the antlers and gets in front of the tires there. Maybe that's a...
You're going to laugh, but there's a guy here that has a lab that runs ahead of the sprayer, and he's trained to find sheds.
Oh, wow. That's brilliant.
And he actually will, during a year, he'll fill up the bed of a side-by-side with sheds.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah. So the canines on the farm can sometimes be one of the most valuable players, especially when you got livestock. I've seen some very valuable players when it comes to having the canines in the fields, as well as even things as small as the bees. We just finished episode 10 talking about apples and watermelons and different fruits and vegetables, and those flowering plants need to be able to have a pollinator, and they need something to move things around. So the bees are even helping out in some cases for certain crops. And that's in episode 10. If y'all haven't caught it, it's available now on our website or our mobile app. Welcome in on all the platforms. John's interested in the turntail, I think, on one of the platforms there.
Actually, the turntail works good for rabbits and kangaroos.
Let's go. Nice. Kangaroos. It works down under, in other words.
Down under.
And then once you smell it, you'll never smell anything again. Wear an N95. Does it come?
You had the pleasure of smelling some last week at the show.
Does it come with an N95? Because after smelling it, I think maybe they should be included. I'm kidding.
You'll smell. You gotta love the smell of garlic.
Yes, it's good. It's good. Sage. It's a nose for sheds too. I don't know what that means.
Their dog, her one of her dogs does.
Oh, okay.
Or two. It, believe it or not, that's a big business in out west.
Yeah. Is it? I believe
it's
it.
Huge because they make so much money on the sheds.
Right. Let's go. From the back. Brad's truck.
We sent a cake.
Brian Bass on the tube
at
making
least
us
you
laugh.
won't have mice in the back of Brad's truck.
Oh goodness. Oh goodness. Megan.
Oh,
No. Small spill. No. All right, fans. I appreciate y'all tuning in tonight. We're gonna have to say, waiting for activate. What is happening? We're gonna have to sign off. I need to get back to editing. We got more episodes.
Yep. It's been a great night, Seth. I'll see you next week, next Monday. Everybody else, you guys join us next Monday, and we'll get started on another week of Battle for the Fields.
Let's go. And I want to thank Ag Explorer, presented by sponsor BASF. I want to thank all of our viewers tonight. We had a record number of viewers in some of our rooms. Thank you to all our moderators and our team members on all the channels. I appreciate you for managing the chats. And I appreciate everybody that keeps coming back and watching all the episodes. Episode 4 was a good one with Perry Galloway. Episode 10 is now available on our website. Make sure you visit our shop and pick up some swag, including that beautiful bass hat that Brandon's got on his head. You can get one of those there too. My name's Seth Wood. For Brandon Deal, we're signing off tonight. Y'all have a great one.
See y'all.
Keep coming back.